Let's talk about Google Shopping and how Google Shopping works and how to create a Google Shopping campaign. I love Google Shopping. It is Google's best performing direct response campaign. You're typically going to get higher conversion rates, lower cost per conversion, better return on ad spend from Google Shopping than from any other type of campaign. Now, like I also said in my lecture about creating a Google Merchant Center account, Google Shopping only works for e-commerce websites which sell physical products through their websites. If you don't fit into that category, Google Shopping is not going to work for you. Now, Google Shopping, the philosophy behind it is a little bit different than search campaigns. So before we create the Google Shopping campaign, I need to explain how it works, what you can expect from it. So the biggest difference between Google Shopping and search campaigns is that you do not select keywords at all. There are no keywords that you select. You can add negative keywords to prevent your product listing ads from being triggered by certain searches, but you don't add positive keywords. Instead, what you do is you take your product data from your website, you create a feed following Google specifications, you send that feed to Google, and Google looks at your titles, your product titles, your product descriptions, the categories that you placed your products in, your pictures, all the information that you send, and Google decides what search terms are relevant to your products. The best way to think about Google Shopping is that it's a combination between SEO and PPC. In other words, it's a combination between the organic listings that you see when you search Google and the paid ads that you see when you search Google. And that's because you're not selecting keywords. Rather, Google's robots are determining what search terms are relevant to your product data based upon your actual product data. So that means that it's vital that your product titles are very descriptive and contain the kind of words that people would use when they search for your products. And I love Google Shopping. Actually, I just got out of a conversation with Google today, a session about Google Shopping, talking about some high-level strategy and ways that we're using Google Shopping for our clients. And Google Shopping is super, like I said, because of the great conversion rates typically, but it does take a lot of work on the setup and a lot of work on the management, and it's pretty technical. So if you want to use Google Shopping, you're going to have to invest some time into figuring out how it works or work with an agency partner who can take care of that work for you. So let's go ahead and create a shopping campaign, and we'll talk more about it as we create the campaign and walk through the steps. So right now we're on the Campaigns tab in our AdWords account. We'll go down here to the red campaign button, click on that, and shopping. That's what we want. So we'll click on that, and this is where we'll create our campaign. So first of all, obviously you have to name your campaign. Let's just call it shopping. And then right here, this is your merchant identifier. Now, to have a Google Shopping campaign, you have to have your AdWords account linked to a Google Merchant Center account. And I created a separate lecture about how to create a Google Merchant Center account and link that to AdWords. So I've already done that in this case. So it's recognizing our ID, and that's the name of the store that I created in the Google Merchant Center account. So that's fine. You have to select your country of sale because each country has some different specifications and limitations specifically for the shopping product. And so we'll select United States. Then we'll hit this drop down here. There are some additional shopping settings. Now, campaign priority, low, medium, and high. That's not something you'll see in any other campaigns. What that means is, so you can have multiple shopping campaigns that might contain the same product. And say you have different bids set up in the different campaigns. You're kind of optimizing for some different goals in those campaigns. Well, what you can do is you can set priority levels at the campaign level. So if we set it to high in this campaign, and we had another campaign that was set to low or to medium, and someone's search term triggered a product that was in both of the shopping campaigns, even if you're bidding higher in the other shopping campaign, the campaign with the higher priority, in this case, this campaign here, is the one that will show the product listing ad. So that just has to do with the management of your campaigns once you build them. Your inventory filter, you could create a custom filter to only bring over certain products, but typically you'll just want to use the none option, bring all the products over. Later on, you can exclude them if you need to from your campaign. If you have local stores where someone can go to your store and purchase something, and then you're also selling online, you could use local inventory ads. Now, that's probably not going to be a good option for most small businesses because it requires tying in with your data at your local business so that you know how many products you have in stock at what locations, etc. So it does require pretty good infrastructure to make that happen. Just like with a search network campaign, you can target search partners or not target search partners. Typically I do because they tend to perform pretty well. And then you use select geographic targeting, just like with a search campaign. You got the same location options targeting as with a search campaign there. And you can manually set bids for clicks, set a default bid of $1. CPCs, cost per click, for Google Shopping campaigns do tend to be lower than search campaigns. So that's another great thing about shopping campaigns and something to be aware of. Obviously, you may need to set a budget per day. Let's just put a default budget in there. You can also set your delivery method to either standard or accelerated, just like you can with search campaigns. You can also schedule your ads if you want to, and if you need to, you can add a tracking template, specific parameters and whatnot if you need to. Let's go ahead and save and continue here. This will take us to the next page. All right, so just like with search campaigns, you do have ad groups with Google Shopping. You could have one ad group. You could have multiple ad groups. It's up to how you want to structure things. In this case, just go ahead and create an ad group, and let's call it all products. And then you can add a promotion. Now, this promotion option here. Actually, I shouldn't say that. Thinking of ad text. This promotion is where you could put something like free shipping. If you offer free shipping on your website, you could write that there, and you can read some information about that here. It's an additional line of text. You can feature a unique message. There's some different requirements there. And let me see if I can show you an example of a promotion in the wild here. All right, there we go. So when I hover over this here, you can see it says free shipping. And here it says free shipping, no tax. So that's a promotion that they're offering. That one doesn't have a promotion. So let's say free shipping. Obviously, only say it if that's what you offer. And we will set up billing later. All right, so our shopping campaign is created, and what it would do is it would import products over from the Merchant Center account. Now, that takes a little while in the beginning, often up to 24 hours, maybe even longer in the beginning, just to get all that data into your account. I would say if you haven't gotten your data in there within 24 hours, you could probably reach out to Google and make sure that there's no issues, that you haven't set up anything incorrectly. So there is another level of structure to shopping campaigns that does not exist in regular search campaigns, and it's called product groups. So let's go back up a step here. You have your shopping campaign, and then you have ad groups. You can have multiple ad groups, and here's the all products ad group we just created. And then within each ad group, you can have product groups. So for example, right now it's pulling all products from the Merchant Center account, and you can click on that speech bubble to see what products it's pulling. But then you can subdivide these products, click that plus sign there, and you can subdivide by a bunch of different things. So by category, brand, item ID, condition, so forth and so on. Or you can create custom labels in your feed. So say you have a bunch of really profitable products, then you could add a custom label to all those products that said high profit, and then you could create a product group in your shopping campaign and bid higher on those high profit items. And then it also shows some different categories. So if you had products in these different categories, you could add the category over there and then hit save, and boom, it breaks it out. So now the way it works is all of your products that were in this category, in the sporting goods product, you can set a specific max CPC for them. Let's just go for 50 cents. All right. And then it's subdivided, all your products, so it has sporting goods, and then it has everything else in all products. You could subdivide this again and keep going and add more max CPCs, or you could exclude all the other products. So for example, and this is a good strategy, you can build an ad group or build a product group just specifically for one high-performing product, even, or a specific brand or a specific subcategory of products, and set your bid on those based upon what you know their conversion rate is and your profit margins and all that fun stuff. Exclude everything else from that ad group, and then you can manage things there very nicely. Same idea as managing related groups of keywords in a search campaign. And then you can see all different information once you start running your campaigns here. Benchmark CTR, benchmark max CPC, those two are really interesting. Those two options do not exist for normal search campaigns, but Google, assuming there's enough data from competitors, will actually give you a sense of the average click-through rate for your competitors on these same products and their average max CPC. So you can get a sense of if your CTR is worse than your competitors, then you need to make some changes probably to your data, to your titles or your images or whatever to increase your CTR. And then you can also kind of base where you might want to set your CPC based upon what your competitors are bidding. So that's a really neat feature that is very handy to use in your optimization and management of the campaign. You can go over to the Products tab, and it would list some of the products that are in the campaign, list their item ID, title, and so forth and so on. You can go to Settings, which is where you would change your campaign settings, which we just created. You can also optimize your bids for devices, just like with search campaigns. You can set an ad schedule, manage locations, and so forth. Ads, you're not actually writing ads for product listing ads. They're just pulling information from your shopping campaign. So it's showing here the promotion that we created, and I believe Google is in the near future actually going to get rid of this option here, if I remember correctly, but that's what they mean by ads, is any promotion text that you might add to a specific category of products. And then on the Keywords tab, you see that there is not actually a keywords option here, only negative keywords and search terms. So you can see the search terms that are triggering your product listing ads. You can use that information as ideas on ways that you can optimize your titles and your product data to get a better click-through rate, since you know what people are searching for. And then you can add negative keywords, which you definitely want to do to save yourself from wasting ad spend. Under audiences, you could add a remarketing list to your campaign, and you can do that same thing for search campaigns, and then you can adjust your bids based upon whether someone has already been to your website. So if you think you're going to have a higher conversion rate from somebody who's already been to your website, they're already familiar with your product, you could actually bid, say, 50% more for traffic from them, and then they're going to be more likely to see your product listing ad and click on it and buy from you. And then the Dimensions tab is the same kind of tab that you see in search campaigns, and it gives primarily the same options for segmenting your data and looking at it and drawing inferences from it. And that's it. That is your shopping campaign.